Hi, boys and girls. I know you're working at home today, and I've got another wonderful story to share with you. So let's think about the special holidays that are coming up. Now, we just finished Halloween, right? And that was a fun holiday where we got to go trick-or-treating and get lots and lots of candy. But there are two holidays that are coming up soon that have a little bit more meaning and are just a bit more special to us. Can you guys think about the holiday that is coming up next week? I'll give you a couple of hints. On this holiday, a lot of us like to eat turkey, gobble, 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 and mashed potatoes and pie. Yes, Thanksgiving is coming up. And Thanksgiving is a time when we gather with our family and friends and we thank God for all the things in our lives that He has given us and how blessed we are, that we have the things that we need. Remember when we talked about that in class? The things that we need, like food to eat to make our bodies strong, and clean water to drink, and a house to live in, so that we're not sleeping outside in the cold, clothes to wear to keep our bodies warm, medicine to keep our bodies strong. There's a lot of things to be thankful for at Thanksgiving time this year, that's for sure. And then the holiday that's coming up after Thanksgiving is Christmas. And if you don't know this yet, you're going to learn it once you're back in the classroom. We're going to talk about Jesus a lot around Christmas time because Christmas time, Christmas Day is actually Jesus' birthday. So we are going to celebrate. So I'm going to start by reading you this story today called The Sparkle Box. And this is about a little boy who starts to feel really sad because he sees people in his life that don't have all the things that they need, and that really bothers him. But you know what? He does something about it. He does something very kind that fills their buckets and helps make the world a better place, just like Jesus would want us to do. So let's get started. Here is the title page, The Sparkle Box. And you can see the box looks very sparkly and fancy. And actually the writing, the letters look very fancy too, don't they? Okay. The author, the person who wrote the words of the story, her name is Jill Hardie, and she has a message for us. She says, "Dear reader, you are the light of the world. Make it sparkle." Okay. So we can see on this page here that Sam is out with his mom, and he's looking through the window in the toy store, trying to figure out what he might want to put on his Christmas list this year, what Santa can bring him, and he sees this red toy train and thinks that that would be a really nice gift to get at Christmas time. When he was home later, he was sitting with his mom all curled up on the couch, and they were reading a Christmas book, but then suddenly something caught his eye. Something up on the mantle. It was a sparkly box with a purple ribbon or a purple bow. And he asked his mom, he said, "Is that special gift for me?" And Mom said, "That's called a sparkle box. And we'll open it together later, but we need to fill it first." Well, Sam was so excited. He could hardly wait to fill that box. So driving home from school the next day, Sam's mom stopped at a building he had never been to before. She asked him to help her carry in some food and blankets. Right here they're doing that. Sam peeked into the bag he was carrying and he noticed a box of macaroni and cheese. Oh, macaroni and cheese was his favorite. "What are we doing with this stuff, Mom?" he asked. Well, his mom smiled and said, "We're giving it to people who don't have enough food to eat or blankets to keep them warm." Oh, wow. Well, Sam was thinking to himself when he was inside the building that he didn't see anyone who looked cold or hungry. Just a nice lady with a big smile who thanked them for bringing those things in. But on the way home, they drove through the park, and it was dark, and all the pretty Christmas lights were all lit up in the park, and they had just come on. As they stopped at a traffic light, Sam looked out his car window and noticed someone on a bench, curled up and sleeping right here. Can you see this person laying on this bench, boys and girls? Oh no. His mom noticed too. He looks really cold, doesn't he? Mom said to Sam, "That's someone who may get one of our blankets. He doesn't have anywhere to live." Sam felt bad. It would be sad not to have a home to live in. So boys and girls, this poor man here, he's laying in the park on a bench at night, and that is where he is sleeping in the middle of winter. How would you feel if you had to do that? That might make me feel a little scared, all alone in the dark in the park. It might make me feel cold, because if all I had was a coat on my body and it was snowing outside, that would be very hard weather to sleep in. I would miss a house to keep me warm. So this man doesn't have the things that he needs. So when Sam got home, he hung up his coat and thought to himself, "Man, I am so lucky to be home and have a home to live in." He sat down at the kitchen table to have a snack, and he noticed the sparkle box up on the mantel still. "Mom," he said, "did you put anything in the sparkle box yet?" And Mom said, "Well, actually, I did put something in it today, but it's still not ready to open. We need to add a couple more things." Sam wondered what was inside. A few days later, Sam was filled with excitement as he shopped with his mom. Tomorrow was a school party, and there was a Christmas tree called a mitten tree, where the kids can hang mittens, hats, and scarves for people who needed them. So at their school, they're having a party, and they have a special place where you can bring in hats and gloves and scarves, and then they're given to people who don't have hats and gloves and scarves to help them stay warm. So Sam was shopping for some mittens, and he picked out the biggest pair he could find. He also bought a candy bar for himself with his very own money. And when he went to turn to leave, Sam heard the tinkling of bells at the door. He looked up and he saw the man from the park bench coming in the door. Right here, boys and girls. That's the man he saw laying on the park bench with no home. The man looked very tired. Sam looked at the candy bar in his hand and thought about the mittens in his bag. He looked at the man's hands. They looked cold. Sam's heart began to pound. Boys and girls, I'm starting to think that Sam is going to do something very brave and very kind right now. Let's turn the page and see what he does. As quick as a wink, Sam slipped his candy bar into the bag with the mittens and pressed the bag onto the man's hands. Sam ran out the door shouting, "Merry Christmas!" His mom gave him a hug. She said, "I'm so proud of you. I know that wasn't easy, but you brought a little light into his world tonight. This man over here, it's kind of hard to see, but he's got a smile on his face because Sam just filled his bucket and was so kind. Gave him a pair of mittens to keep his hands warm and a candy bar that he bought with his very own money so that the man would have something sweet to eat. That was so kind. Sam asked his mom if they could drive by the park. As he watched the flame on the giant candles blink on and off, he thought about how unfair it was that some people didn't have a home to live in or food to eat. Did you notice that bench is empty because the man was at the store? He was up moving around and hopefully found a place to get a nice warm meal and a warm place to stay for the night. Soon it was Christmas Eve, the most special night of the year. Sam and his family gathered at their church for a Christmas Eve service. They sang songs and listened to the story of the very first Christmas. Then, in the darkened church, a single candle was lit. That candle was used to light other candles, and soon everyone was carefully passing the flame from one person to the next until the whole room was filled with a magical light. Sam looked around. How lovely, how peaceful they all looked as they shared their light. It was beautiful. On Christmas morning the next day, Sam ran downstairs as fast as he could. Under the tree was the train with the shiny red engine that he really wanted, right down here. And what was that? The sparkle box. Sam could hardly wait to open it. It's right down here. So he sat on his mom's lap and cuddled in with his dad. And Sam slowly lifted the lid off the box. Inside there were just a few pieces of paper with words written on them. Puzzled, he took the papers out and began to read them. One of the papers said, "Mittens and a candy bar given to someone in need." And he thought to himself, we did that yesterday. And then the other paper said, "Warm blankets and food for the homeless." And he remembered in his mind when he and his mom took those blankets and the macaroni and cheese to that building so that those nice people could hand them out to the homeless people that didn't have food to eat or warm blankets. Sam's mom explained, "Sam, the sparkle box is our gift to Jesus on Christmas Day, his birthday." Sam was confused. "But we didn't give Jesus a gift. We gave things to people who needed them." And Sam's mom smiled. She said, "You're right. And no gift could make Jesus happier. He taught us that whatever we do for people in need, we do for him. So each year we'll think of some special gifts to give Jesus. We'll write down these gifts and put them in the sparkle box. And on Christmas morning, we'll open up the box and read out loud the gifts we gave in honor of his birthday." So Sam thought about the man curled up on the park bench that didn't have a home to live in, the mittens and the soft blankets. And he looked at his mom and he smiled through tears, through happy tears, because he helped make somebody else's life better. And boys and girls, that's what Jesus really wants us to do. He wants us to be kind to each other and to take care of each other. So this is what I want you to think about. I sent home a shoebox, a covered shoebox with some stickers inside. You guys can go ahead and use those stickers and some markers or crayons to decorate that shoebox and make it look like your very own sparkle box. And maybe what you can do is surprise somebody in your family this Christmas and put some surprises in there to fill their bucket and make their day happier. Maybe you could surprise your grandparents, one of your grandparents, with something special in that sparkle box. It's up to you. I want you to think of a way that you can make someone's day brighter. Okay? I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope to see you guys soon.